As you can tell by the title, I'm the obsessed movie man. O.M.M. I finally had a chance to go to the theaters over Thanksgiving break, and I decided to check out Thor: The Dark World. Notice a lot of films are using the word dark in it, like Star Trek Into Darkness, Thor: The Dark World, Dark Knight Rises, whatever. Sorry, you could probably hear the neighbors out there. I checked it out, and it was pretty good. I liked it. I sort of liked it more than the first one, and that's mostly because I liked the further character development of Loki, because you never get too much of Loki, right? So I'll just go through a brief plot synopsis. It takes place after the Avengers, duh, and Loki is imprisoned in Asgard. Jane Foster, I got a little lost on this. They come across like some sort of energy power thing that allows dimensions to open, like to other worlds, or like holes. Like if you drop a cell phone like right here, it'll come back down here or something like that. You can lift a car with your finger. It flew over my head, and it's probably something that was addressed in the comics, but then again, I didn't read that much of the Thor comics. And Jane Foster finds it and gets into her body, and it awakens this villain, this very bland, forgettable, boring villain. And it's not, I don't want to say it's the actor's fault, because it's not. It's just that, for whatever reason, I think his name was Malekith or Malachite. It makes me think of Children of the Corn. He's just so forgettable. I can't really tell you anything about him except that the plan is to bring the world into darkness. That's it. So he's an elf. They established that they are elves, and it makes me confused, because I'm like, which elves am I supposed to believe in? Santa Claus's elves? J.R.R. Tolkien's elves? Or Marvel's elves? No. Meanwhile, Thor takes Jane Foster to Asgard, and they try to figure out what's going on with her, and it's like, every time someone touches her, and I don't mean that in a bad way, like if someone touches her, they just go flying away from her, like the power just pushes them away. Yet, when Odin and Thor touch her, it doesn't do that. I thought that maybe it was because they were Asgardians, but then again, two guards that were Asgardians touched her, and they fell back. Maybe it's because they're both gods. Then again, Odin actually said they aren't. I'm getting off track. So anyway, the elves, by the way, are hilarious because they look like Teletubbies. I couldn't take them seriously, I'm sorry. It's an army of dark Teletubbies. And they just basically destroy Asgard. Not completely, but they basically do destroy the center of Asgard. And a tragic event happens, won't spoil it, but something tragic does happen. And that convinces Thor that he needs Loki's help, because Loki, I think, has a secret way to get out of Asgard. I got really confused with this one. But it's just building up to Thor's confrontation with bland, forgettable villain. Tom Hiddleston is basically, as Loki, he owns this character. He relishes in being this evil, cocky, just asshole. And it's so much fun to watch. I had a friend on Facebook who actually said Tom Hiddleston should host SNL one night, and I replied, as Loki, do it as Loki. He's the one reason pretty much everyone is going to go see this film, I think, and that's probably why the villain in this film is so weak, because they want you to think more of Loki than this actual guy. And I think Chris Hemsworth does a good job as always. Natalie Portman has really grown as an actress since those Star Wars prequels, and she's been doing well already, like with Black Swan and stuff like that. And okay, I'll get to some of the negatives. Actually, this one was a negative for some critics. The Darcy character, the friend of Natalie Portman, who's kind of like the ditzy, technology impaired character, whatever. A lot of people find her annoying. For some reason, I don't find her annoying, and I should, because she has all like the tropes of being annoying. Like she's doing the wisecrack. She doesn't contribute to the plot, and And yet I'm not annoyed with her. I think I was only annoyed with her once in the first film. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but I see why people find her annoying. I can see, but for whatever reason, it doesn't bother me. I'm okay with it. There is a real lack of Eric Selvig, the scientist who was brainwashed in Avengers, and you see him in Thor also. Um, he's really under he's really underused in this film, but when he is seen, it's quite hysterical. But it's the Warriors 3 and Sif that are really underused. Like, I think the Warriors 3, each of them has like one scene for themselves. And Sif, they were really hinting at this in the trailers, that there would be a big love triangle between Sif, Jane Foster, and Thor. But it never really, they kind of drop it near the end of the film. Like, there's a scene where Sif has a glance at Jane Foster, but nothing really comes about it. They even kind of establish that Sif likes Thor, but they don't address it. And this is a spoiler from the comics, not from the movie, but like, in the comics, Jane Foster eventually loses all memory of Thor, and she's sent back to Earth and falls in love with someone else while Thor marries Sif. I'm actually glad that they didn't do that. I kind of like seeing the romance is not necessarily believable, but it's kind of cute. I kind of like it, and I don't really want to see Natalie Portman just leave the franchise. Like I said, the villain is completely wasted. I don't know anything about this character. He probably has a bigger story in the comic, but I don't know anything about this guy. And Anthony Hopkins, as much as I love Hopkins, I still feel like he acts like he's confused as to why he's in this film. It's it's actually kind of funny to see, but he does a good job. And of course Stan Lee makes a cameo, but there is another cameo. I will not spoil who it is or what it's about, but I'll just say this: I have never laughed out loud in the theater so loudly, I guess I could say, because that took me completely by surprise, and I think you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. Just be warned, it's hysterical. And I like we had more of Heimdall in it. I really like the character of Heimdall a lot. And again, had some good action scenes. Rene Russo does a very admirable job. Yep, yep. I guess that's all I have to say about this. I'm kind of working on doing more written reviews than just the vlogs themselves. So again, I apologize if my thoughts are a bit rambling. I guess I'll end it with just like the endings and the trailers. There are two endings to this film. The one at the very, very, very end of the credits, and then one halfway near the end of the credits. The first ending I think you should save for. Second one, it's just it's just more. It kind of helps the romance between Thor and Foster. The first one, it sets up. It took me a while to get this because I actually had to have a friend explain this to me. It's setting up the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and I know nothing about the Guardians of the Galaxy. Other than that, it contains a raccoon that can talk. So yeah, I'm not joking. So I was completely lost on that, but it's setting up for that movie. And I'm sure the Guardians of the Galaxy will become very popular after that movie comes out. Trailers. We got, I think we only got two trailers. We got Desolation of Smaug. I just found out recently, I guess the play that I was in, the Hobbit play that I was in, we pronounced Smaug's name incorrectly. We always called him Smaug. So apparently it's Smaug. And that looks not only awesome, but it looks long. And if you read the book, all the stuff where they left off and all the stuff they're going to do, plus the additional stuff with Gandalf and the Necromancer and this relationship Legolas is having with Tauriel, the new elf. So it looks like a long movie, at least 3 hours, but I'm still going to see it. And also, speaking of Marvel, we got Winter Soldier, the Captain America sequel. And from what I understand, it's going to be kind of like a political thriller film. So that's kind of going to be interesting to see. I'm down for that. I like to see Captain America in that. So there are my thoughts on Thor: The Dark World. I Again, I haven't really been going to the movies that much. I was just in a play, so I apologize for that. That's the whole reason for the mustache, which is now gone. And I'm gonna actually try and write some more reviews for you guys. I think I don't want to keep you guys listening to the long pauses and everything. So stay tuned. There are more O.M.M reviews on the way. So this is O.M.M signing out.